And what have you seen now that you're doing this for others? What have you seen their journey been when
Oh,
they're connecting with you?
Carla, that's such a wonderful question. I have my podcast called When We Are Brave, and I'm the founder of
Mm,
When We Are Brave, which is my company that I've developed to help this movement of bravery. I had a client call me yesterday,
mm,
and she has suffered her entire life with high anxiety. And she said to me, I don't think in my life that I would be where I am today without your help. You
wow.
have helped me live a life that I never thought I would be able to. And
Wow.
that brings tears to me because I just feel so honored to be able to help people in that way. And I loved when we were talking earlier about being a giver. I've always been a huge giver and I've always wanted to help people and make a difference. And to know that the work that I'm doing is inspiring people across the
Hmm.
globe is just wonderful. So wonderful. Another client the other week called me and said that she was thinking about this movement of Brave, and she actually works with underprivileged mums. She's a maternal child health nurse, and she works with mostly mothers who are alcoholics, drug abuse. And she has also, the work that I've been doing with her has then gone on to her clients who they are now making positive change in their life, and that's affecting entire families.
Exactly.
How
I mean,
amazing is that? Like, that's
wow.
amazing.
It's amazing. I mean, if to see, I mean, the impact, right? Is we have so much within us, but if we don't share it, we can't have that impact. Each and every one of us can learn from each other. I mean, we're listening to your story. We're listening to how now you're taking this journey that you've gone through and using it to inspire. It wasn't an inspiring moment of your life, but here now is inspire others to say, live your best life now
Yeah,
because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
that's right.
Do find out who you are now because if not now, when? So
That's right.
all of these messages are coming through just by you sharing your story. I mean, I can only imagine so many people who are looking at it and say, "Oh my gosh, my story was paralyzing me." But now that I've heard Tiffany's,
Mm.
it's given me that bravery again to step out again because usually when someone goes to what you just shared, it could be paralyzing. It could literally just,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the anxiety, as you mentioned, PTSD, to name a few. So paranoia. I mean, anything could start traumatizing and triggering a person of not really living their best life.
Yeah.
But you're able to come in and help them. I mean, give us some steps of what are you sharing with them as to how to even start this process after a traumatic event, such as something similar to yours. What is the first step that you take with someone to just to start releasing, right? Releasing that weight. It's a weight.
Oh,
How
it's
do
a,
you
it's
or
a
how do you start the process with them?
one of the biggest tools, and I think one of the best starting tools is first of all to work out ways of to work through ways that they release things. So I'm
Hmm.
not a psychologist, I'm not a counselor, I'm just sharing what's worked for me. What worked for me was understanding where some of my strengths were, because we all have strengths, even in our darkest
Yeah.
of times, we still have strengths. So one of my strengths is being creative, obviously, because I got accepted into a fine art school. So I did a lot of art therapy. But what else I have always done is journal. And I talk a lot about journaling all the time. But sometimes putting those words on the paper can be too confronting. It just is too hard. When
Yeah.
you're in the depths, when you're in that dark, dark place, that is
Yeah.
too hard. So sometimes drawing, I have personally found to be amazing. I have so many paintings that I've done of the disaster
Mm.
because it's not the word. You're not reading it, it's not in your face, but you can express how you're
Hmm.
feeling. Do a you don't have to do a Van Gogh painting. You just need to get it out. You need to start to learn how to release these emotions. What happens to us is that often we put on this facade, this front, and we just get on with life and we kind of hide what's really going on within ourselves. And we put it all into like a trash can. And then we just keep putting everything in. We put the lid on, we put the lid on, we put the lid on. And then what can happen is that one day something triggers you and you just put it back in your trash can, but that is full and the lid bursts open
Yeah.
and everything goes flying everywhere. And all
Yeah.
of that emotion and that turmoil and that trauma all sits in our bodies. So exercise is also a really, really important way of getting things out. I did a lot of boxing for years. I did boxing. I don't do
Mm.
any boxing anymore, but that was every time I would punch something, I would be releasing the anger, whatever
Releasing.
anger I was feeling about a situation. And there was a lot of work around the accident that I did boxing because I just needed to get it out of my body. So the
Yeah.
whole trick is understanding what your strengths are, what you like doing. Do you like running? Do you like dancing? Do you like whatever it is? So find something that you do have a memory of enjoying something at some point in your life, and then
Mm.
using that thing that you like to do so it's not hard, in a way that you can start to express yourself and not hold it in, and knowing that there's help out there. That's the next step.
To get
Or
the help.
maybe is to actually take the step to go, I need help outside of this. If you're not ready to, because so many people
I
have
mean
this whole
that's
persona.
that is yeah, that in itself is being brave.
Oh,
Is to
absolutely.
admit, is
Just,
to admit I need help because
yeah.
if not, then this is where we try to find a way to numb it, right? As we were mentioning
Mhm.
earlier.
Yeah.
But once you're able to admit, okay, I need I need someone to just check on me,
Yeah.
or I need to assess myself.
Yeah.
And really, in reality, we all should assess ourselves, right? I mean, I believe in assessing every at least 3 months,
Yeah.
twice a year. I mean, for sure, once a year. Twice a year would be great, but if you can assess every 90 days what's going on in your life to help keep you in track, whether it's emotional, physical, any of those things, I think it makes a big difference
Yeah.
into our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And the other thing, so once you've acknowledged that you need the help and you get the right
Mhm.
help. So I always say as well, you don't go and see a dentist for a broken leg. You
Yeah,
go and see a dentist for your teeth. So make sure you get the right help, whatever it is that you're going through. If you've got an eating disorder, then go and see someone that specializes in eating disorders. If you've got
yeah,
PTSD, go and see someone that specializes in PTSD. Mental health has the same
yeah.
different specialties as the physical body. So that's really, really important. The other thing is your tribe. And that's where
Mm.
Cassandra comes into the story. When I had come home, I had a broken leg, 4 broken ribs, a dislocated jaw, soft tissue damage to both of my legs, and my pancreas was damaged. And I'm now on an insulin pump for my pancreas doesn't work, so I'm diabetic. So I've had
Mm.
21 years now of being diabetic, and none of those injuries were identified when I was in hospital in Switzerland, and it took some time, months, for my injuries to be diagnosed. And I was in such a deep, dark hole. I would not get out of my bed. I wouldn't speak to anyone. And I actually wanted to die.
Wow.
I thought dying would have been easier than living what I was living. And my mum made a phone call to a girl she had never met. And she got her phone number. She must have got it from my bedroom somewhere. I don't even know how she got that, but that's not important. She rang this girl and she said, "Hi, I'm Tiff's mum. You don't know me, but I know about you. If my daughter speaks, she only talks about you, and I don't know what to do with her. Would you please come and visit us? You're my last hope." And so Cassandra, whose cousin had perished in the disaster, got on another plane and came to see us and sat
Wow.
at my side. And I was finally able to start the beginning of my healing journey. And that is so
What a
important.
friendship. What a friendship.
She's amazing. She's so amazing. And that's why I talk about that in the story in that moment in Tuscany, because it really was
Because
that.
you've only met her for a
I a few
few
weeks.
hours.
I know. Yeah.
And now she's a long time friend, a
Yeah.
confidant. I mean,
Yeah.
really a person that you could say life changing, helped you change your life.
Yeah, absolutely. For both of us.
Mm,
Having a tribe around you to support you, be there for
mm,
you. And that doesn't always have to be just a friend or your family. It could be your counselor, it could be your pastor, it could be a community group that you're a part of. And there are so many opportunities for people to be out there that are always willing to listen. There are so many
yeah,
helplines that are free. There are online forums. There is always, always someone, even when you think that there is no one that will understand and that no one will there be there to listen to you. I'm telling you that there always is someone. So when you can get that tribe around you, not to mollycoddle you or annoy you, but because sometimes you worry that you don't want people to fuss about you because you're in such a bad place. It's even can feel worse. But I'm
yeah.
talking
Like,
about just knowing that you have those people there when
yeah,
you
people that you can trust, that you feel comfortable. I mean, not total. Yeah, I understand. I mean, as far as we all need a group of people that we can, go to if there is
yes,
an issue. Yeah.
that's right. So that's my other really important connection. I have a Facebook group called Brave Hearts, and it's a beautiful group of people who will go on there and help inspire each other and talk about when they've had hard days and good days. There's meditations and free things and a whole bunch of different bits and pieces that are in there. And it's just this really, I know it's online, but there is one lady in there who was almost on at bankruptcy, and she
Mm.
really didn't know what she was going to do. She reached out on that group and her life has turned around, and she is now moved to a new place. She's got a job, she's living an amazing life, and she puts it down to having that support network. And I feel so incredibly grateful for having online opportunities today because it
To
means
help
we have,
others.
like we're talking now and
Yeah.
we're on the opposite sides of
Yeah.
the world. It's amazing.
Isn't it? I mean, there is always they say a thin line where the opportunities and the challenges meet, and
Yes.
most likely many of us wouldn't have met each other if it wasn't because of the pandemic. But
Yes.
we've been able to channel a way to express.
Mm.
It's what we're doing. We're expressing, some creativity out of us because of something else that we weren't doing that usually on normal terms would have kept us busy, right? Or we would have claimed was productive.
Yeah.
But we were able to carve out these extra spaces to support others, to learn about others, and to really take your life to a more quality, a more meaningful space versus just staring at four walls, right?
Yep.
And not
The
taking
daily
care of,
grind. Yeah.
yeah, the
Um,
daily grind. So
yeah. I would love to read just a tiny little section of my book. I feel like it's hold on a second.
okay.
I should have grabbed it before I sat down before. This is my book. It's about my story called Brave Enough Now. It's
I
available as an
love the
audiobook,
topic.
ebook, paperback. Yeah, great title, isn't it? Great title.
Yes,
The sequel's coming too.
love it. But it's definitely, if anyone wanted to reach out to you, right, and connect about, just coming out of the comfort zone
Mm.
or coming after a traumatic experience, this would be a great way to segue into living a more positive life, a more courageous life. How can someone reach out to you?
You can easily find me on my website, whenwearebrave.com. And you can also find me on the podcast, which is also whenwearebrave.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Tiffany Johnson, author. That's where I
Hmm.
am there. Yeah. That's what life is, beautiful through all its dark and light. My friends and family are treasured. I hold them close to my heart at all times. I have lived a full and wondrous life, a normal life, an ordinary life, a life that I have worked hard to make as fabulous through listening to others, taking on board their concerns, and making the changes necessary to live my truth with love and appreciation of things, including life itself. I have never once forgotten my friends from that journey, nor will I ever. That journey shaped me in ways I could never have foreseen. For years after, all I ever wanted to do to live life to the fullest was continue on my path, living the biggest and the best that I could, doing it for myself, but also doing it for those that were lost. Now I have come to know that I no longer need to live my life as if I am living it for those who died. I need
Yeah.
to live it just for myself, for all of me, for all the broken parts of me, for all the fixed parts of me, for the me that I am, the me that is whole.
That was
And that,
beautiful.
yeah,
That was beautiful.
thank you.
I mean, there is not really much more I can add to that. Thank you for sharing,
Mm,
your beautiful story, even though if it was a tragedy, but just the way you moved in through the story of how you surrendered to the water, of
mm,
how you connected with a dear friend.
mm,
Those are the things that I want to remember out of the story, of how you felt, of empathy as you saw your friends floating by.
mm,
It's a story of heart, a heart to give in, a heart to love, a heart to feel for others, a heart that felt helpless, a
mm.
heart that's helping others. So with that, I cannot say much more than to say thank you for coming here on your inspired journey to inspire us to know that through it all, it's important that we continuously take the steps forward. No matter what raging water is in front of you, step through.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
the message you left here today.
Thank you so much. You have absolutely nailed it in one. It is a wonderful life that we can all have. And I know that your listeners out there will be brave enough to do it. So thank you for letting me be on your show. It's been such a delight and an honor.
I love it. Well, everyone, you can see that Tiffany shared her heart with us. And a lot of times we live in a world where it's all about how we're thinking, what we will be thinking in the future. But it shows you to connecting to your heart. A lot of times it takes a brave person to connect with the heart than to connect with the mind. And she shared with us today how courageous she was in a dark times for her to be able to still find the light at the end of the tunnel. So will you join me with Tiffany and connect with our heart so that we can become brave in taking the next step into the greatness that God has before us? Until then, continue on your inspired journey, and I'll see you soon.